Greetings, distinguished fratres, sorors, and friends of our beloved order. Welcome to yet another session of the Grand Administrators E-Forum, the GA's E-Forum for the month of August 2021, with the topic Overcoming Inner Security. My name is Nefertiti Ohimine, moderator for this session, and here are the ground rules. All microphones will be muted to avoid holdback effects. If for any reason you are not muted, kindly assist in muting yourself when you're not speaking. In line with cybersecurity policy, anonymous questions will not be attended to. What this means is that questions and comments from devices without real names will not be entertained. To ask a question, kindly utilize the Q&A feature on your screen. To leave a comment, please utilize the chat area. To speak, if time permits, kindly utilize the raise your hand feature on your screen. We humbly request that we keep the questions narrowed down to the topic and discussions for tonight. We are also live on our social media handles, including our YouTube channel, Amok Nigeria, and the link is being shared in the chat area. Kindly share with our members who are unable to join us here. And should you experience network glitches from your end, please do not hesitate to join on our YouTube channel. If you are yet to subscribe to Amok Nigeria, kindly do so and turn on notification in order to get info on new updates. Also, the recorded version of this session and videos from all our sessions, as well as other videos, are available to you on this channel whenever you visit. Also, please subscribe to all our social media handles, Instagram, LinkedIn inclusive. At this point, beloved fratres, sorors, and friends, let's welcome our most worthy Grand Administrator and Director of the Supreme Grand Lodge, Frater Kenneth U. Idiodi, on the topic, Overcoming Inner Security. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, beloved soror. I want to say that it's my very great pleasure to have all of you virtually present today for yet another session of our forum. So far this year, we have handled the mystical life, God and the cosmic, the God concept, and aligning with cosmic laws. We have also considered the human being as a divine agent, as well as contemplated upon how to avoid disasters. Hopefully, those who have been with us from the beginning of the series this year are all familiar now or have an enhanced understanding of the difference between God and the cosmic. The various concepts we have and are entitled to have of God and about God, as well as how to align ourselves with cosmic law in order to be in attunement with the universal consciousness of God. More recently, we have also discussed man, the problem, man, the solution. And today, we will be considering overcoming inner security. Let us, fratres and sorors, sit relaxed. And to relax ourselves, do some deep breathing in and out. In without holding it, and out without holding out. We call this neutral breathing in our Rosicrucian studies. And the idea is to get us into a state of equipoise and balance and feel relaxed within and around us. It is in a relaxed frame of mind, in a relaxed mood, that it becomes easier for each of us and any of us to gradually turn the consciousness inwards. As we unite in invocation. God of our hearts, God of our realization, in whose consciousness we live and move and have our being. We are thankful for your presence with us at this time and grateful that in your light, life, and love, we derive inspiration, upliftment, and the way forward in our personal lives. May our deliberations upon our inner security be fruitful to your glory and the good of all. So much it be. Fratres and sorors, and friends and family members who may be participating here with us at this time in this virtual presence forum. It's nice to have you at a time when there is so much anxiety and brouhaha over border insecurity, at a time when there is so much concern and anxiety over food insecurity, societal insecurity, environmental insecurity, violence, and enormous fear of terrorism, we might as well discuss overcoming inner insecurity, which is the tendency to feel insecure within ourselves. In every society, bad news has a tendency to travel much faster than good news. Of course, this is because our attention is readily captured by things that make us feel uneasy or uncomfortable. And this can be attributed to our instinctive sense of self-preservation. When we consider the fact that we must be alive, first of all, in order to enjoy life, it is no surprise that threatening news takes more of our attention than pleasant news. Journalists in the print and electronic media, reporters, bloggers, and social media influencers are aware of this. And this is why frightening events, including security challenges around us, quickly dominate our news and social media channels. This, fratres and sorors, ladies and gentlemen, is the information age. And with the advent of the World Wide Web, information now spreads around the whole world in a matter of seconds. Unfortunately, by the same token, misinformation is also rapidly spread through the same channels. And so, this era or age is also proving to be the misinformation age. It is fair to say we have too much information and, frankly, quite a bit of misinformation on the internet. our level of interconnectedness through the internet is therefore a double-edged sword. It is a potential avenue for education and empowerment, but also a potential channel for mischief, particularly the propagation of fake news and the instigation of global panic. There is no doubt that we must be wary of the real dangers that exist around us, of which there are many examples. However, there is a difference between real danger and our internal reactions to artificial threats created in our own minds. In an attempt to demonstrate this difference, let me give you some real-life examples. A gentleman was being driven home in his brand new SUV Jeep. He was comfortably seated at the back, reading a newspaper as the driver expertly maneuvered the car at steady cruising speed. All of a sudden, he heard a loud explosion, and when he looked up, he saw that another car had crossed in front of his car. It was filled with hoodlums who had fired shots at the tire of the car, forcing the driver sharply apply brakes, swerve, and stop the car. The gang leader aggressively jumped out and came up to the side of the car. The gentleman, calmly observing, wound down his window and asked what they wanted. The gang leader was taken aback by the calm disposition of his victim and became a little confused. Then, noticing a golden chain with a hermetic rosy cross pendant around the gentleman's neck, he thrust his hand through the car window and yanked it off. In a very steady voice, the gentleman asked him if he actually knew what he was holding. This question made the hoodlum to panic, and he immediately threw the gold chain and pendant back into the car. As if this was a cue, the driver suddenly fired the Jeep into motion, swerving past the vehicle partially blocking the road, and sped away in spite of the damaged tire. This is how they made a miraculous escape. On getting safely home, the gentleman reflected on the event and became filled with fear. He became so overwhelmed with feelings of insecurity that he was unable to venture out of his house for more than a month. The second one, another real-life incident, following a similar pattern, involved an elderly man whose home was attacked by armed robbers. He was rudely awakened in the middle of the night to loud banging sounds on his front door. He got out of bed and approached the door, which he was confident would hold up to the attack, because he had installed a very sturdy security door. In order to dissuade or demoralize the armed robbers, he started to hurl abusive words at them from the safety of his side of the door, telling them how pathetic they were and that they were wasting their time. But to his greatest surprise, they broke down the door and came into the house. However, rather than panic, a great calm came over the elderly man and he sat down. They shined a torchlight on him, and seeing he was an old man, suddenly felt guilty. The old man noticed and took advantage of this by telling them that he was old enough to be their father. There were two of them, one with a pistol and the other with a cutlass. The pistol was pointed at his head, and the edge of cutlass blade on his neck, as they demanded for money. In response, the old man put his hand in his pocket and brought out just one 5 naira note, the lowest denomination available in notes. Surprisingly, they took the money and left. The old man returned to his bed and fell asleep. In the morning, when he woke up, he reflected upon the incident and was suddenly gripped by cold fear. He wondered how he could have been so calm with a pistol barrel to his head and a cutlass blade at his neck. He packed his suitcase and moved out to his friend's place and was unable to return to his house for several weeks. Brothers and sorors, what we find in common between these two real-life stories is that in the face of real danger, these individuals were very calm and composed. However, at the time the danger was totally absent, they became filled with inner feelings of insecurity. If we can understand the underlying reasons behind a person being calm in the face of danger, and on the contrary, being fearful in the absence of danger, we will have the key to overcoming inner security. There is an ancient Rosicrucian saying that a true Rosicrucian knows no fear. However, the Rosicrucian philosophy makes a distinction between fear and caution. When we know something is potentially harmful, it is rational to take all necessary precautions we need to safeguard ourselves from it. Fear, on the other hand, is an irrational emotion that comes over us as we anticipate an unknown experience. It is the fear of the unknown, fueled by an active imagination. Ironically, most of the things we fear never come to pass. Fear is an emotion we are all introduced to early in life. This is different from the natural sense of caution that is part of the survival instincts we are all born with. Without this natural caution, children will be endangered by the overwhelming levels of curiosity and adventurousness they have. However, parents also have a duty to protect their children from danger. And out of this sense of protectiveness, many parents and the society in general instill fear into their children as they warn them about the dangers existing around them. The idea is to scare them away from actions or things that may harm them. As a result of this, many children live with underlying fear, or at least easily frightened by the things they encounter in life. As we grow up through childhood, our increasing power of reasoning helps to reduce the level of irrational fear in our lives, but does not totally eliminate it. Some of our fears are so deeply rooted in our minds that they are beyond the reach of the rational or conscious mind. In other words, we cannot rationalize them away because they are controlled by the subconscious mind. The power of the subconscious mind over all aspects of our lives is one of the subjects carefully analyzed in the Rosicrucian teachings. The subconscious mind is an inner intelligence that directs all the complex activities of body and mind that we are mostly unconscious of. It is what keeps us alive and makes us who we truly are. It is fortunate that the subconscious mind can carry out all its activities without the involvement of our reasoning mind. Imagine what it would be like if you had to take rational decisions before your heart beats, your food digests, or air enters your lungs. We do not, fratres and furrows, have the intelligence, concentration, mental speed, or stamina to be able to consciously direct even the smallest fraction of what the subconscious mind does continuously. Our subconscious mind functions independently. However, it reacts to our conscious thoughts, words, and actions. And this happens all the time, whether we are aware of it or not. Left to act on its own, our subconscious intelligence mirrors the balance and harmony of the cosmic mind or the mind of God. As we have said on previous occasions, the subconscious mind is the mind of God in the human being. However, the discord or disharmony in our thoughts, words, and actions can interfere with the harmonious effects of the subconscious mind. This can easily be demonstrated. An example of this occurred when a man visiting a local community for the first time was offered a meal. After eating the meal, which he found to be very delicious, he asked the cook what was in the food. He was told that the meal was made out of very nutritious worms found in palm trees. They are like large-sized maggots and a local delicacy in that part of the country. Upon hearing this, he spontaneously vomited out all the contents in his stomach. His revulsion at the idea of eating worms, which was an anathema in his culture, disrupted the harmonious digestive process taking place under the direction of his subconscious mind. Without the disturbing thoughts, the digestion would have been completed naturally without any problems. Similarly, without the interference of disturbing thoughts, the subconscious mind confers upon us a natural sense of security at all times. The cosmic mind, which is always in a state of balance and harmony, perfect harmony, conveys this sense of security to us through the subconscious mind. However, interference of our conscious mind or our thought processes can cause us to lose this sense of security. The Rosicrucian way to overcome inner security is to constantly place our conscious thoughts, words, and actions in service and submission to the higher intelligence of the cosmic. There are many Rosicrucian techniques for achieving this, including the initiatic procedures through our various degrees of study, sacred rites, affirmation, chanting, sacred words, special breathing, creative visualization, prayers, and meditation. We will just consider two of these, which are commonplace. And these are prayer and meditation. Fratres and sorors, as we know, There are many types of prayer. Prayers that we offer in our various religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, etc. However, when a prayer involves calling out the things we are afraid of and asking God to protect us from them, the inner security we seek may elude us. This is because by mentioning the things we are afraid of in our prayers, such as death, illness, accidents, failure, lack of money, and the like, we are bringing inharmonious thoughts to the fore of our consciousness. This may interfere with the harmonious activity of the subconscious mind. And so, rather than mention our fears, we will be better off mentioning our desires, our yearnings, our aspirations. For instance, instead of praying against death, we should pray for life. Instead of praying against illness, we should pray for good health. Instead of praying not to fail an examination, we should pray to pass it, having prepared for it, of course. Instead of praying against an accident, we should pray for a safe journey, etc., etc. Focus upon the positive and ignore the negative. However, it must be emphasized that whatever we say in our prayers, we are in essence attempting to align with divine intelligence, God, the cosmic mind, or whatever name you choose to call the higher being in whose consciousness we move and have our being. If we succeed in prayer, meaning if we become aligned even momentarily, we will certainly be rewarded with a feeling of inner security. The practice of meditation, on the other hand, involves slowing down all our conscious activity so that the subconscious becomes more dominant and prominent. Using various techniques, we can relax our physical bodies and reduce our mental activity to the barest minimum. And in so doing, the subconscious mind rises in power and becomes free to function without distraction. The result, of course, is that the harmony and security inherent in cosmic intelligence manifests in our beings. By practicing prayer and meditation regularly and frequently, for us, they become habits, a second nature. A habit is an unconscious law of the subconscious mind. We find that the effects of meditation and prayer on our bodies and minds remain with us for longer periods of time as we practice over time. Eventually, these effects will become a constant part of our being throughout the day and not just limited to the period we pray or meditate, which for many is when there is danger or the foreseen danger or in the midst of real trouble. This should be daily routine activities, the practice and culture of prayer and meditation. Apart from the feelings of inner security, we will also enjoy real protection. This will come from the positive vibrations in our aura, which easily deflects both psychic and even physical attacks. We will find also that we have an enhanced power of intuition, which will lead us away from dangerous places or situations if we remember clearly, those who participated, how to avoid disasters. However, we must bear in mind that to continue to enjoy inner security, we must keep up with the practices that bring it about. If we slip into thoughts and actions that do not support our sense of security, we will lose it. And so, to conclude, the price for inner security, therefore, is eternal vigilance. The price for inner security, therefore, is eternal vigilance. Thank you. I will soon be handing over to the moderator to take us through a few questions or comments that may have arisen in your mind in the course of my sharing these thoughts with you this time. And of course, I should be closing with an exercise that will epitomize, summarize, and highlight what we have shared so far in the form of mystical practice. Thank you. Over to you now, Sir Nefertiti, moderator.
We thank you very much, our most worthy Grand Administrator, for the insight into this topic, overcoming inner security. Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished fratres and sorors, friends of our beloved order, we have listened to our most worthy Grand Administrator talk to us on overcoming inner security, and he left us with this line: the price for inner security is eternal vigilance.
One moment, moderator.
Yes,
overcoming inner insecurity.
I'm sorry, please.
Yes, overcoming inner insecurity.
Insecurity. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, overcoming inner insecurity. So he has told us the price for inner security is eternal vigilance. On this note, we are open to questions and comments. Like I said, when dropping the ground rules, to ask a question, kindly utilize the Q&A feature on your screen. To leave a comment, please utilize the chat area. To speak, if time permits, kindly utilize the raise your hand feature on your screen. But most times, due to network glitches, we encourage our participants to leave their questions in the Q&A area. Thank you. I'm also the Grand Administrator. We have some questions waiting already. Fatayaya Babatunde is asking, can we apply the law or principle of neutralization to eliminate fear from the mind?
Thank you. The answer is yes. Fear is a universal response to danger. We talk about fear of the known as well as fear of the unknown. And fear has its advantages. As I said in this message that I shared, and we must take proper advantage of the advantages. We should be courteous. We should, when faced with danger, try as much as possible to be cool, calm, and composed. Very, very difficult, but we should try, so that we know and hopefully understand at least what is happening or in what type of danger we are in. If, of course, through flight, or we find ourselves in a situation in which we can't escape. This fear is broadened to accommodate all forms of mental idiosyncrasies. What does this is the imagination. We have this faculty of imagination, which may blow it out of proportion to what it is and become even more afraid, more scared, more fearful when we have this feeling that we can't escape. But as I try to demonstrate in these two real life stories that I've shared, you find that if we can be cool and calm and composed, which is extremely difficult in some instances, we begin to have some inroads into how to handle the situation. And therefore, that approach of, should we say, neutralizing the negative by trying to remain positive does assist us because it permits our subconscious mind to highlight the positivity within us. Every human being has an aura, which is a super sensitive field of electromagnetic vibrations emanating from, radiating from, and protecting the human body and the human system. And when we maintain that composure, we strengthen the aura to do its work. And the inspiration we have, intuitively and otherwise from the subconscious within us, will enable us to act one way or the other and either drastically minimize the danger, if not eliminate it altogether. Next question.
Thank you very much, Amboswali Grand Administrator. I think we're taking two questions or same questions asked by two persons. Frater Solomon Oyedokun is asking, can vowel sounds be used? And Frater Peter Igwe is also asking, beloved Grand Administrator, how can one use sounds, in bracket mantra, to overcome inner insecurity?
Okay, in many ways. In some instances, it's possible to make use of the vowel sounds that you have learned in the Rosicrucian studies, especially if you know the various purposes, aims, and targets for which they should be used in terms of support for the systems we have within and around us that respond in the use of these vowel sounds. Mantras, of course, yes. I talked about the various things we have in the Rosicrucian teachings, in which we share secret words. And again, if we know and have practiced how to use them appropriately, why not? They could be intoned. Also, they can be mentally vibrated from the silence of our hearts and minds. And they are equally, sometimes even more effective. Your intuition will tell you or inform you as to what best to do in the given situation in which you find yourself. And clearly, in between life and death circumstances, as even featured and narrated in my presentation, you will find that even though the persons involved may have been quiet at certain times, since they were initiates of her august order, they knew what to do in the silence within them, and it made the necessary impact. Of course, I also share the thought that naturally and normally, as human beings, of course, it took them some time to regain themselves properly because of the harrowing nature of the unexpected experience they went through. Next question.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Akin Babafemi is asking, what is the role of affirmations in countering inner insecurity? That is one. Abbott Thomas is asking, how can one ensure internal vigilance? And there's one more, because I feel they are all in the same line. Can we do neutral breathing to calm inner fear?
Thank you. That is part of the exercise we are going to do, which, by the way, will be in another maximum, in another 10 minutes or so, or less, so that we can close this program in 15 minutes time, and you go about your usual activities for ending a typical Thursday. Yes, affirmations help us to drum into the subconscious mind certain ideas or concepts that we have in the objective mind. And they are useful because in that sense, we are affirming the positivity and playing down on the negativity that that fuels the fear. So affirmations can be used. In terms of internal vigilance, these two words are very powerful. We are looking at watching our thoughts because they become words, watching our words because they become deeds, watching our deeds because they become habits, watching our habits because they become character, watching our character because it becomes destiny, the direction towards which the law of cause and effect is leading each of us, or as a group, as a family, as a community, etc. We should be vigilant at the personal level, at the individual level, in terms of what we do, in terms of our utterances, and in terms of our thoughts. Good thoughts and making a habit through contemplation and meditation of radiating thoughts of love, kindness, harmony, peace, etc. Brighten and enable the aura with positivity and attract us through time and space to circumstances and situations where we can function the best, and tend to remove us from those situations or circumstances that are dangerous. To the extent that should we go into such dangerous environment or circumstances, we enjoy a certain type of protection, because something in our auric field will tell us that this area is dangerous or danger is around the corner. If you have an intuitive prompting that danger is around the corner, you will, as a Rosicrucian, of course, know what to do, not just for yourself, but for all others in the neighborhood or environment. We are here in life, not just for ourselves, but for others. Just like we enjoy what others do in their various ways through prayer and meditation that affects us positively, so too by our meditation and attunement to the universal consciousness of the cosmic, the universal divine consciousness of God, bring to earth, to our neighborhood, whether in a car or in a certain vicinity where danger is known to be prevalent, an atmosphere that is protective and that will restore system and order where there is chaos and confusion. And I think the third one was relating to
you talked about the neutral breathing.
Yes, that's right, which will be taken up in the exercise that we'll do together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a question from Connie. some experiences don't only create fear, but phobia/trauma, which may linger for years. Please, how do we handle these traumas?
Again, by the exercise we are going to do, there's nothing new, but just to tell you that within the practices we share, we have an opportunity with regularity of practice over time to enhance and promote inner security. Without inner security, the external insecurity we witness will be several times much more for each individual on our planet. You know, external security concerns usually relate to porous borders, to the activities of evil-minded persons, to invasion of territories, strife, war, to famine, disease, epidemics, pandemics, and so on and so forth. But if we make an effort to overcome inner insecurity, that feeling that we are insecure within ourselves will evaporate. And the more we feel secure within ourselves by virtue of actions we have deliberately taken to promote the security within and around us and let it blossom to the fullest, the more we see ourselves in a different world from the purely material, mundane world in which this physical body, for the time being, has to be. And so it is important for us to put our various teachings and the principles inherent in them into practice to make sure that in a world of chaos, confusion, violence, terrorism, etc., we stabilize our inner security to be able to express it outwards in order to have external security, not just for ourselves, but for fellow human beings throughout the planet. Thank you. The last question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amos, the Grand Administrator. Before I read out the other questions, also the GA, questions we have here are over 20. So I think we will have to create, like I suggested some time back, we'll have to create a particular session to respond to all of these questions, or we would have to mail them. I don't know. Why I'm saying this now is I think we may have to take a bit more, we may have to take more than one question.
Okay. Let us try maybe 3 questions then.
Thank you very much, sir. Matthias Orero is asking, thank you so much, GA, for your insightful talk. I want to know how we can expunge deeply assimilated subconscious fears that are mostly rooted in cultural or religious realities and practices that have been consolidated over the years. Is it truly possible to eliminate such deeply rooted fears?
If you are into the study of the Rosicrucian teachings, with time, each and everything is possible. Because what we are saying is that by attunement, you are gradually, more and more attuning with the universal cosmic consciousness of the divine. of the divinity within you, of God. And with God, all things are possible. We are familiar with that. I agree that because of the fact that it is deep in the subconscious, things that have to do with certain traditions, customs, cultural cleavages, and so forth, it may be a little difficult for some, but that is the value of initiation. We find ourselves in a situation in which we mentally and emotionally disrobe things that relate to ignorance, fear, superstition, darkness are gradually uprooted from within us. That is to say, through attunement and meditation, we sink into the subconscious mind, bring them out, and eliminate them. These principles relate to, for instance, as was mentioned earlier, affirmation or autosuggestion, etc. And at the level of the Council of Solace, we have challenges as to how best to help those who are by cultural upbringing chained mentally to the tentacles of superstitions and negative beliefs and emotions. They have been raised that way. They have been told to believe and accept these negatives. And they see these things over time as realities in their personal lives. And we know that, generally speaking, vibrations have to do with the law, and actuality has to do with the law and order of vibrations, while a reality has to do with the law and order of consciousness. And we are more affected by realities than the true state of things, which is actuality. I give you an example. An elderly woman woke up one morning and stepped out of her house. Just at the entrance of the door, she saw what looked to her in reality as a snake, and she screamed. Even at this age, these people are still after me. Why wouldn't they allow God to take my life when the time is due? At that sight, she just collapsed, fainted. She was resuscitated, only for her to discover that it was a rope that is normally used in drawing water from the well behind the house, which somehow was in front of the door and was twined in such a way that it looked like a snake. Whether this was mischief by some children that were playing or it was a deliberate set for her, it's not the issue. The fact is that it was a rope, and the impression she had upon seeing it as she stepped out was that of a snake sent after her. You see, the actuality is a rope. The reality in her consciousness is a snake. And that fear and intimidation caused her to collapse and passed out for a while. If it were more serious, depending on her heart condition, she would have crossed the threshold, so-called death or transition, and would have been buried and would carry over the impression that people sent a snake after her. So we should be very vigilant. As I said earlier, we should be conscious of what we think, what we say, and what we do. And in that vigilance, our inner security lies. We should also be conscious at these sensitive times of what we do in terms of taking care of our health. Health is just not an external thing. It is more importantly an inner thing. This whole thing about people feeling that the pandemic is so and so, and there are lots of conspiracy theories about it, is something we have to get out of. Right from my early years in this incarnation, I've seen people scared about vaccinations, about inoculations, right from the yellow card years. Yellow card, you needed to have your yellow fever vaccination, which was meant to be valid for 10 years. If not, you wouldn't be allowed to travel by air internationally to another country. You were required to have your smallpox vaccination, your cholera inoculation in recent times, etc. And now we're in a different era in which very soon many governments will probably be saying that if you don't have your COVID-19 vaccination or have not taken it, whether it's a single shot or a double, you may not be allowed to travel to certain countries. And we have the same thing that repeated itself in the yellow fever years, the smallpox years, and the cholera years, repeating itself now with various conspiracy theories. And I have explained previously that all our members and their families and friends should be up to date scientifically in a digital world and realize that scientific investigations and discoveries are facts, not fictions, in this mundane plane that we know. And they should do the right thing to encourage others who are either afraid or fearful or scared to realize that for us to achieve a certain degree, these days they call this, with this pandemic, the herd instinct level, where we shall all be free from it, all of us somehow need to come to terms with the realities on the ground. And therefore, by the same token, we have persons who have several health challenges, and need to face those challenges. Do the right thing. Do not just go according to your culture or notion of traditional medicine to take alcohol with roots in it, when, for instance, there are obvious dangers to have such prescriptions without proper medical diagnosis by a physician in a hospital that has the authorization to do so. And so one is saying that common sense should always guide us, and we should flow with scientific thought and development in a world that has become increasingly scientific, and make sure that we blend mystical and spiritual practice in our lives with scientific discoveries and behave responsibly and respond responsively to current situations globally. So please do not be afraid or scared about vaccinations. It is not true that people taking these vaccinations will die within the next 3 years. And you should have reached a stage when you contemplate life, and all those who are listening at the moment are beyond a certain age. The fear of death shouldn't be in our hearts and minds, and the fact that some persons who have even been vaccinated have passed on should not be taken to mean that is either as a result of the vaccination or not. It is confirmed that the pros, the advantages of taking these vaccines in various countries far outweigh the disadvantages. And for the growth and development of our human civilization, we should do the right things at all times. Brothers and sisters, family and friends who are listening, if you are sick, engage the services of a medical doctor, a physician in a clinic or hospital who will make the right prescriptions And of course, you can add your light of spiritual knowledge by doing your own things, thinking properly and acting properly, the right exercises, balanced diet, drinking water, breathing, etc., to enhance the rapidity and effectiveness of medical remedies in terms of work and bouncing back to health. I want to pause at this time and and suggest that if there are more questions, you send them to our email. Please display also later on our web address. We have activities coming up, like the Rosicrucian Convention in Abuja, November 5 to 7. It will be a hybrid event. We shall be there at the International Conference Center, Abuja, live. And a few persons perhaps, or maybe many persons who for some reasons cannot be physically present, will be welcome to link up, bearing in mind that they cannot participate in all the programs just by the virtual means of Zoom. The main thing is for us to try to be there physically. We believe that there is enough room in the hall, though we won't be as many as we used to be because of some social distancing and also the use of masks in line with the current protocols in force. Maybe by that time, they will also have minimized, at least we focalize for this and visualize this happening. And so please visit our website, register for the convention, and tell your associates who are members, fratres and sorors, by whatever means you can, email, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, all the various links that are available to you, to let them know that there is this convention, and our imperator, a new imperator, Frater Claudio Mazzucco, will be physically present, and we should have a wonderful time addressing the theme of service and self-mastery for service. On this note, let us go now to this exercise. I ask that you sit relaxed. This is not new to any of us. And remind you that within each of us is the celestial sanctum. Over, above, and beyond us is the celestial sanctum. Since each of us is a microcosm, a small universe within a macrocosm, the big universe, we have the celestial sanctum within us as well as over, above, and beyond us. The more we internalize our Rosicrucian principles and put them into practice, the more we gradually overcome any feelings of inner insecurity. Fratres and sorors, within each of us is a quiet, serene center where one can go and draw from there strength, composure, find answers to questions bothering us, and grow in spiritual stature. This is our soul center, where we commune with the God of our hearts, the God of our realization, the God of our deepest understanding, and indeed the God of all creation. Neutral breathing we shall do now. You take in a deep breath, and without holding it, you breathe out, and without holding out, you breathe in again. Do this in and out at your pace so that you feel relaxed and at peace within and around you. And now I want you to direct your attention to the sole of your feet, in touch with the floor, which, whether you're in the ground floor or in the 10th floor, is still the Earth's magnetism. Concentrate on the sole of your left foot and feel the tingling sensations from the floor, the Earth's magnetism, up to your left ankle. Turn your attention to your right foot, the sole of your right foot, and begin to feel tingling sensations as well, if you can and do, up to your right ankle. Do this as you breathe in slowly and breathe out gently, with your left foot between the ankle and the knee, the lower leg, and your right foot between the ankle and the knee, the lower right leg. Continue with this for your upper leg, between the knee, the thigh, and your waist. And similarly, with your right leg, so that your attention is now at the base of your spine. Concentrate now upon the lower part of your body, the waist area, as you breathe in and out slowly, and bring your consciousness to a point above the navel, your solar plexus area. Your arms have been on your legs, and I ask that you concentrate on your left fingers up to the left wrist, and flip over to your right hand, the left fingers up to the right wrist. Your lower arms between the wrist and the elbow, the left and then the right. You could do it whichever way you feel more at ease. It could be your right before the left. Bring your concentration on the arms, beyond the elbows to the upper arm, to the shoulders. And now focus your attention once again as you breathe in and out upon your solar plexus area, a point just above the navel, and feel vibrations and sensations internally relating to your lower abdomen, the kidneys, stomach, liver, the lungs, the chest area, the heart, and up to your throat. Focus your attention on the Adam's apple area and neck. And now raise your consciousness to the center of your head, and in such a manner that you can feel the impact of your pineal and pituitary glands responding to your breathing and vibrating. Focus your attention between the two eyes at the root of the nose. And as you breathe in, feel the center of your head pulsating. At this point, calm down and tell yourself that you want to be in attunement with the center of your being, which in fact is the center of your microcosm. To make it easier for you, visualize yourself in a spherical ball of light. Be calm, and with the first deep breath, let us acknowledge the light of divinity within us. And so that when we are ready to exhale, our entire beings and our auras are charged with the brilliance of divine light. With the next deep breath, in this spherical ball of light, let us acknowledge the breath of life, the breath of God within us, the vital life force. And so that when we are ready to exhale, our entire beings and our auras are charged with the vitality of divine life. And now, with the next deep breath, let us acknowledge the love of the divinity within us. And so that when we are ready to exhale, our entire beings and our auras become charged with the sublimity of divine love. Thus infused and imbued within this spherical ball with the light, life, and love of God within us and around us, let us unite in invocation. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse our beings and cleanse us of all impurities of mind and body, that we may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in pureness and worthiness. So mote it be. And now, Within this inspiring, uplifting, and protective spherical ball of light, life, and love of the divinity within and around us, let us feel our consciousness rise with effortless ease to a point above our head, wherever we are, at home, or in the office, or in the field. And beyond this head, rising higher, above the building we are, above the immediate material environment, higher and higher, above the village, town, or city, above the country where we are, be it Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, beyond the continent of Africa, Britain, Europe, the United States, the Asian countries, beyond our planet, through the clouds, beyond the clouds, higher and higher, to infinite space, free from the challenges of material and mundane reality, to a level and plane of consciousness where we can feel serenity and peace. Whatever your visualization, symbolic of a cathedral, a mosque, a church, a Rosicrucian temple, feel the serenity of this environment, even if just a landscape. Celebrate the beauty of nature. This is your celestial sanctum. It may be different of that of your neighbor, your family member, your friend. It's unique to you. But it's common to us that in this wavelength, we feel peace, harmony, serenity. It is this feeling from our innermost being that is inner security. As we attune with it, we feel more and more secure within ourselves. We seem to hear the voice, "Be still and know that I'm God. Know that I am with you because you have chosen to seek what I alone can give. The peace that passeth all human understanding." Free from the multifaceted tests, trials, temptations, and tribulations of mortal existence. Feel secure, safe, and in harmony and peace with yourself, your life, your mission, and your commitment to service above self. And now, in appreciation of this, mentally vibrate Om 3 times, bearing in mind that this represents the omnipotence, all-powerful nature, the omniscience, all-knowing nature, the omnipresence and ubiquity, ever-present nature of God. For the first time, for the second time, and for the third. And now, in your own words, offer a prayer of gratitude, of appreciation. And make a request at this time that will enable you be of greater service to humanity. I shall say a prayer on behalf of all of us shortly. But go ahead with yours first. Now, fratres and sorrows, let us unite in prayer. God of our hearts, God of our understanding, we are thankful for your presence in our lives, a presence that blesses us with the light of knowledge and the illumination of wisdom. A presence that guarantees our safety and security at all times. May your light, life, and love within and around us bless us with divine protection, inspiration, and guidance in our earthly acts of service to our fellow human beings. And may our acts of service ever be to your glory, the good of all, and the evolution of our soul personalities. So much it be. And now, fratres and sorrows, I request that we gradually calm down and be receptive to that sense of cosmic protection, divine inspiration and guidance in our lives. Gradually now, let us commence our return through the same manner we ascended to this level. Through time and space, to our planet, to the environment in which we started this procedure, back to the physical temple of the soul, our physical bodies. And now we close with a prayer. May the grace of God sanctify our individual and collective achievement with the celestial sanctum. So would it be. Gradually now become aware of the objective environment, our mundane plane, your home, your office where you are, and the familiar physical surroundings of our Mother Earth. Now, Francis Rose, thank you for participating. We hope that you share your light with others. And we'll put up an announcement again for the next GS Forum, as well as for other activities that may be taking place at this time. I'm sure the moderator may say something about the light bearers' activities.
Okay.
Or you will have this posted on our website with exact dates and the nature and theme of the event. Thank you and enjoy a sanctum evening if you have not already done those things. Those in the Asian countries have done that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amos, for the Grand Administrator. Distinguished fratres and sorors, like most of the Grand Administrator has mentioned to us, we will be having the Light Bearers Association Zonal webinar. It will be coming up later part of this month. The exact dates and time will be communicated accordingly. For the Grand Administrator, on behalf of everyone present tonight, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. We thank you for your insights into this most important topic, overcoming inner insecurity, which I know affects all of us, and we are already looking forward to the next GASE Forum. To you, our distinguished fratres and sorors, friends of our beloved order, I mentioned that our deep sense of appreciation goes out to all of you for always keeping a date with us here at the GSE Forum. It shows that really Rosicrucians are working question marks. Thank you for attending always. To our members, once again, do not forget to observe your sanctum session as it is a Thursday night. Thank you and have a good night.